She's like, oh shit, this is fucking hard. I don't know if I can do this. Welcome back, YouTube. Today it's a leg day. Switching up things just a little bit. We're going pendulum squats to start today. Maybe still hit some Smith machine squats and the old hip press here. But overall, just kind of switching some things up a little bit. Everything else pretty much staying the same in terms of accessory work, things like that. Hamstring curls, leg extensions, some adductor work, keeping it all pretty standard, pretty simple, because it's definitely not broken, so we're not going to try and alter it too much. But yeah, so feeling good energy, just really excited about some of the results we've been making, some of the changes we've been making, and getting that much closer to really starting to button things up and start grinding. So got about 33 weeks, 32 and a half weeks or so, but we're treating every single week like it's showtime. So keep that mindset and just grow. It's been a while. It's been about 3 months or so since I've used this, outside of maybe just some warm-ups or demonstrating for clients, but actual working sets on this thing has been a good while. But quads are feeling good, quads are feeling really strong. Really just, at this point, it's conditioning, letting the lungs catch up, but legs are feeling really good, so can't complain. Come on. Ooh, feeling pretty good. Getting hot. Proud of you. Hey, thanks. I'm getting to be basically summertime here in Dallas. It's a little hot, and we're starting to feel it a little bit. We're gonna hit one set here, dropping down to 2 plates, and we're just gonna try and just rep it out, get a good pump in the quads, try to go full range of motion, pausing at the top, pausing at the bottom, feeling the quads under tension the entire time. Easier said than done. I'm sure I'm gonna wanna try and speed it up and get it over with, but try to stay mindful. The difference in beginner to novice to advanced is recognizing when you're actually failing, recognizing when you're actually done. It's very easy after 4 or 5 reps to be like, oh shit, this is fucking hard. I don't know if I can do this, to getting to the point where the only way to find out is to find out. You know you'll fail when you fail. And then using that as a gauge to back off over time and realize, okay, I'm gonna fail if I do one more, let me stop right here. Knowing where failure is, knowing how to anticipate and approximate failure without actually failing, I think is pretty key. But we're gonna move on. Quads are feeling really good. Okay. Moving on to this pendulum hip press variation. Getting a lot more high quad adductor while still really torching that VMO and those lower kind of quad sweeps. So a great secondary compound movement. Not as much fatigue involved as something like a back squat or Smith machine squat. So just kind of focusing more on high force here, a lot of contraction. We'll just take this for about 3 sets and just try to get as many reps as we can. Quad to chest. Questionable. Last rep, maybe could have done one more, but we have 2 more sets, so erring on the side of caution, not causing huge drop-offs. Oftentimes going to failure, the biggest issue you'll see is volume and repetition drop-offs set after set. If you're using the same weight, you hit 12 on the first set and then maybe 10, but then like 5 or 6 on the last set. You're not really getting a lot of quality reps with that last set. So you're either not resting enough, you're conditioning shit, you're fat like me, or you're maybe just pushing the first 2 sets too hard, if that's a thing. But the goal should be kind of slow, steady, incremental drop-offs. Quads are pumping. Can't really wait for the pump to dissipate. You just gotta fight through it. Big thing I really try to focus on is not turning sets into rest pause sets, meaning, for example, like the last couple reps here, I could have definitely have used some more rest at the top when I'm locked out, but try not to take advantage of that. I'm trying to keep stimulus into the muscle as much as possible. Keep that tension really consistent. So I kind of have like a 3-breath rule. 3 breaths, and you gotta go. If you fail, you fail. Okay, return of the Bulgarian. Oh, fuck. It's 14. Oh, those could barely come up on that 14th one. I kind of, for a while, removed these from the plan, mostly just because you get chronic lower back fatigue after all the squatting and stuff, that these are really hard to do, and then really just hard to maintain and control those positions to kind of own the whole end range, making sure I'm getting to good depth, but also getting up to the top, fully extending and locking out the leg, and then returning back to that starting position. So to me, the quality of the movement, even at body weight, was just not where I wanted it to be. So took a little reset, incorporated more of these in the warm-ups, and now feeling a little bit more confident in them, starting to add load over time. I think it's an important thing to think about if you're doing, back squats or doing any movement that hurts or just doesn't feel right. You don't have to back squat to get huge legs. You don't have to bench press to get a huge pec or a huge chest. Like, there are a million ways to skin the cat, and for me, this movement just wasn't feeling right, wasn't feeling good, and I don't love it in general. So if you don't love it, it's already gonna be hard enough to convince yourself to do it. You have to still do the things you don't like. But more than anything, I just wasn't feeling like I was getting a lot from it because I was just so fatigued whenever I was incorporating it in the program. So it's taking a step back to take more steps forward and reintroducing it in the program now that I think it can be a little bit more effective. A little harder on the left side, admittedly. Stability component, a little bit more challenging. I don't have an intact ACL on my left knee, so knee's a little bit more wobbly, but just have to control tempo. Strength feels good, just a little bit less stability. Normally, I start off with the seated leg curls, just to kind of get some blood flow into the legs, increase the amount of stability I feel at the bottom of the squat position by activating those hamstrings, but it was in use, so I didn't want to push things back too much. Just did all my squat work, quad work, and now we'll get some seated leg curls, adductors, and then finish with some leg extensions just to really separate some of these lines on these quads. Ooh. One thing I've changed recently, and I feel has had a huge impact on the activation on the seated leg curl, is normally what I would do is I'd really push here, and what that actually caused me to do is as soon as I started pulling, it would pull my lower lumbar spine into a little bit of an arch and kind of alter my pelvis position. So what I saw kind of Nick talking about was the idea of keeping the pelvis position in control, almost like you're kind of leaning forward just a little bit. And the way I kind of think about it is trying to kind of depress and compress your rib cage down into a neutral spine position and really push the lower back into the seat and not feel like you're letting your upper back come back into it. Even if it does, because you're maintaining contact with the lower back, you're going to keep that pelvis position under much better control. Yeah, so much more full sensation in the hamstring. Not just kind of that lower insertion, but I'm feeling it all the way into that mid insertion as well. Not mid insertion, but kind of in the middle of the belly of the hamstring. It just makes such a big difference. Okay, dropping the weight down, just gonna pump it out, see if we can get about 15 reps or so. That's the goal. Yeah, I knew at about rep 3 that 15 was going to be tough, but I think we eked out about 14 and a half. We'll move on, knock out some adductors, knock out some leg extensions, but not much to say, so we'll catch up at the end. Is it end of day photo time? Barely. Oh, I feel you. Ooh. That is a wrap for today. Good solid leg day, getting the pendulums back in the mix. A little bit of hip press, bringing the Bulgarians back in after just kind of rebuilding those over time the past couple weeks. And yeah, legs are feeling nice and meaty. Weight feels like it's kind of moving in the right direction. Aesthetics, definitely not holding as much water as we were last week. So feeling pretty good. Day 1 of the week, day 60. Yeah, it might be day 60 of the mild bulk. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep things moving, keep things grinding and growing. Bo Alexander, Adapt Fitness, Dallas, Texas. Bye. Bye.